Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Mahendra JV from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering, bearing the USN 1VE21EC049. I am from the Mangalam section ECE branch. Today I am here presenting a presentation on illustrating the conversion from HSI to RGB color model. Moving on to my next slide. Introduction to HSI and RGB models. HSI stands for hue, saturation, and intensity, which is a color model based on human perception. RGB stands for red, green, and blue colors, which is used in electronic displays and also in the digital imaging. Understanding the conversation or conversion between these models is essential for various applications in graphics and image processing. Moving on to my next slide. Understanding HSI color model. Hue represents the type of color and is measured in degrees on a color wheel. Saturation indicates the vibrancy of the color ranging from a grayscale to a pure color as well. Intensity represents the brightness of the color, ranging from the black, which is also known to be 0, to white, which is also denoted to be 1. Moving on to my next slide. Understanding RGB color model. RGB is an additive color model where colors are created by combining the red color, the green color, and the blue light. Each color channel is RGB can vary from 0 to 255, allowing for over 16 million different other colors. Combination of all three colors at maximum intensity results in white, while all at 0 results in only black. Moving on to my next slide. HSI to RGB conversion overview. The conversion from HSI to RGB involves several mathematical transformations. This conversion is crucial for applications where colors need to be displayed accurately on screens. The process consists of calculating the RGB values based on the HSI components. Moving on to my next slide. Extracting the HSI components. The first step in conversion is extracting the HS and I components from the HSI model. Hue is calculated as the angle in the color wheel, while saturation and intensity are straightforward values. Accurate extraction of these components is vital for the subsequent calculations which are probably to be made. Moving on to our next slide. Calculating intermediate RGB values. The next step involves calculating intermediate RGB values using the trigonometric functions. The formulas just not depend on the value of the hue and its corresponding sector in the color wheel. Special cases need to be handled where saturation is 0, leading to shades of gray. We know that the trigonometric functions intermediate RGB values. Next step involves calculating interference. But these formulas depend on the value of the hue and its corresponding sector in the color wheel. The color wheel has many aspects and many parameters which should be followed, and by which following them gives us the calculations of intermediate RGB values. The specific cases need to be handled where the saturation is 0, leading to shades of gray. Moving on to my next slide. Final RGB value calculation. The final RGB values are determined by scaling and combining the intermediate values. This ensures that the resultant colors maintain the correct brightness and the saturation levels as well if that comes to matte. The final output should be clamped between 0 and 255 for each RGB component. Moving on to my next slide. Example of HSI to RGB conversion. Consider an example where H is 120 degree, S is 0.5 degree and I is 0.7. Using the conversion formula, the RGB values can be calculated step by step. The expected result would be a specific shade of green reflecting the input HSI values. Moving on to my next slide. Applications of HSI to RGB conversion. The conversion is widely used in image processing, computer graphics, and digital photography. It allows for accurate color reproduction across different devices and media. Understanding this conversion also aids the graphic designers in creating vibrant and appealing visuals. Moving on to the next slide. Conclusion and further learning. The conversion from HSI to RGB is a fundamental concept in color representation. The mastery of this topic enhances both technical skills in graphics and artistic capabilities. Additional resources and practice can deepen understanding and application of color models. Thank you, friends. This completes my PPT or the presentation over this particular topic.